The earth lies quiet beneath a wide and open sky. Hills roll gently in the distance, their outlines softened by the warm breath of a lingering breeze. Dust rises faintly from the worn paths, stirred by the feet of those who traverse them daily. A faint scent of dry grass and sun-baked earth hangs in the air, mingling with the distant sound of a flowing stream, steady and unhurried. In this land, villages rest quietly, scattered like seeds across fertile valleys. The homes are humble, walls of sun-dried clay, roofs thatched with stalks from nearby fields. Smoke curls lazily from small hearths, a fragile thread linking earth and sky. Children move through the streets with bare feet, their laughter bright but restrained by the weight of the day's labor. Elders sit in the shade of ancient trees, their eyes deep with the slow passage of time. Yet beneath this surface of calm lies a restless pulse, a rhythm marked not by clocks but by conflict and deliverance. Here, no king wears a crown. No throne commands obedience. Instead, when danger stirs, a figure rises called a judge, neither monarch nor priest, but a leader born of necessity and crisis. These judges emerge quietly from the people. Sometimes they are warriors, their hands skilled with weapons and strategy. Other times they are voices of counsel, their words cutting through fear like a clear stream through the rocks. They do not reign in permanence. Their authority is fleeting, tethered to the moment when order must be restored. The cycle begins with silence. The people tend their fields, sowing seeds and tending flocks. The sun arcs overhead, rising and falling, marking the passage of days. Seasons turn with reliable rhythm, yet the peace they bring is delicate. From the edges of the land come threats. Raiders from hills, simmering disputes within, the slow unraveling of unity. A cry breaks the stillness, a call for deliverance. The judge appears, steady and unyielding. He or she rallies the people, drawing them from their homes and fields into bands of resistance. The dust rises in their wake as they prepare for battle. The clash of arms echoes across the plains, mingling with the cries of men and the thunder of horses. When the dust settles, victory breathes into the land again. Its quiet returns. The people go back to their daily rhythms, their hearts eased by the calm. The judge steps back, their power waning as the memory of conflict fades into stories told by firelight. But peace is never lasting. The cycle turns again. As the judge fades, old divisions return, threats resurface, and the people fall into disarray. The land suffers once more, crying out for deliverance. This cycle, silence, threat, deliverance, peace turns endlessly, a pattern etched deep into the fabric of this time and place. The images you are seeing are artistic reconstructions. They are generated to assist the imagination, not to declare exact appearance. They exist to accompany an ancient record, not to replace it. The words and the history remain open to careful study, quiet reflection, and shared examination. For centuries, the era of the judges was dismissed as a mytho-lawless period that seemed too chaotic to be true. But the dirt tells a different story. Today, we step into the landscape of Iron Age Israel to see if the pattern of the ancient record matches the hard evidence of history. If you value this deep dive into the historical landscape of the Bible, consider subscribing to help us reach our goal of 50 scholars in this community. The images you are seeing are artistic reconstructions, generated to assist the imagination, not to declare exact appearance. They exist to accompany an ancient record, not to replace it. This work is part of the Faith and Facts channel. When you share your observations, the record travels further. The judges come and go, their names fading with the years, but their marks remain in the land and in the lives they shaped. The evidence of this ancient rhythm is inscribed not only in stories, but in the very earth itself. Beneath layers of dust and stone lie ruins, silent witnesses to a land shaped by repeated conflict and fragile peace. Archaeologists uncover walls that once stood against invaders, walls thick and rough, built hurriedly, but with careful purpose. These fortifications speak of a people living under constant threat, compelled to defend their homes and families. Fragments of pottery, cracked and scattered, hint at hurried departures and sudden upheaval. Weapons of bronze and iron, rusted but telling, tell of battles waged across plains and hills. The earth remembers the weight of feet marching into conflict, the desperation of those defending what was theirs. Within caves and rock shelters, remnants of ancient fires and tools speak of refuge and survival. The bones of hunted animals lie still, silent markers of a people reliant on the land even amid turmoil. Seeds of barley and wheat preserved in charred remains show cycles of planting and harvest interrupted by fear. The biology of the land reflects this ebb and flow. Soil layers reveal periods of cultivation followed by neglect. Fields left fallow during times of unrest, only to be reclaimed when peace returned. Pollen grains buried deep in the earth tell stories of changing vegetation, of a land shaped by both human hands and the wild. Genetic traces in the descendants of these people carry the scars of this turbulent era. Markers reveal populations fragmented by conflict, isolated by war, then reunited through endurance and hope. These genetic echoes speak of resilience amid repeated fracture. The stones themselves hold memory. Terraces carved into hillsides, ancient irrigation channels dug by hands long gone, all bear testimony to efforts made to sustain life through unstable times. The land, both witness and participant, tells a story of adaptation, struggle, and survival. Ancient texts, though sparse, echo these realities. They recount cycles of uprising and peace, warnings ignored, and deliverance wrought. These words pass from one generation to another, align with the silent testimony of earth and bone. Across neighboring cultures, similar tales emerge. Stories of leaders who rose in moments of crisis, of peoples caught between peace and war. These parallel memories suggest a shared experience, a pattern visible beyond one land or people. Structures like watchtowers and fortified towns mark the landscape. Their very existence speaks of vigilance and fear, of communities ever watchful, ready to respond to the returning threat. These places were not designed for comfort, but for survival. Human remains reveal the cost of this cycle. Bones bear signs of injury and hardship. Fractures healed imperfectly, teeth worn by scarcity, evidence of disease linked to instability. Yet alongside these are signs of recovery, of life endured despite hardship. The information carried in this cycle is not orderly, but fraught with tension. The judges stand as momentary restorers of order, halting the slide into chaos. Yet the cycle itself reflects the persistent pull of entropy, the inevitable erosion of stability. The great fracture, the breaking of harmony between people and land, manifests not only in conflict, but in environmental change. Deforestation and soil degradation rise during troubled times, altering the very landscape that sustains life. Historians distant in time recall this era as one marked by repeated rises and falls, peace and rebellion. Their accounts, though incomplete, resonate with the deeper physical evidence. The cycle of the judges endures as a quiet testament to human nature. Its vulnerabilities, its strength, its ceaseless striving toward renewal. The earth holds these memories without judgment, inviting only observation and reflection. In the stillness of this ancient land, the echoes of the judges speak across the ages, a subtle but persistent voice in the long story of humanity. The remnants of the judges' era are etched into the landscape not just as physical scars, but as lessons written into the very fabric of time. Each mound and broken wall tells of a moment when courage rose to meet calamity. The silent stones, worn by wind and rain, hold the imprint of human hands. Builders who toiled to protect, to preserve, to endure. Beneath the soil, sediment layers record floods and droughts, natural forces that shape the lives of those who dwelt here. These environmental pressures intertwined with human conflict, amplifying hardship and urgency. The land itself was both a stage and a participant in the unfolding drama. The architecture of defense reveals the impermanence of peace. Fortifications were constructed quickly, often reusing older stones, evidence of repeated cycles of destruction and rebuilding. Their hurried nature speaks to the urgency of survival, not to the luxury of permanence. Artifacts of daily life, broken tools, scattered cooking vessels paint a picture of communities interrupted. The rhythm of normal existence was fractured by the pressing needs of defense and deliverance. Yet, even in these fragments, there is a story of continuity. Life pressed forward, adaptation woven into the fabric of survival. Genetic studies reveal a mosaic of movement and isolation. Populations fragmented by conflict bore the marks of bottlenecks, where numbers dwindled but did not vanish. These echoes in DNA trace pathways of migration and reunion, hinting at resilience amid chaos. The cycle is also observed in the slow degradation and renewal of the environment. Soil erosion increased in times of neglect and warfare, only to be repaired in seasons of peace. The patterns of vegetation changed accordingly, recorded in layers of pollen and charcoal. This evidence from biology and geology complements the archaeological record, together weaving a tapestry of human experience shaped by the recurring patterns of threat and restoration. Written records from later generations offer glimpses into this turbulent time. Though sparse, these documents speak of leaders called by the people, of times when unity overcame division, of moments when deliverance was achieved through courage and faith. These stories resonate with similar accounts from neighboring peoples. Tales of leaders who rose in times of need, of communities struggling to maintain identity and security. Such cross-cultural echoes reinforce the impression of a widespread human pattern. The Judges era, therefore, is not isolated. It forms part of a broader human experience where cycles of conflict and peace, leadership and submission, chaos and order repeat through history. This unfolding evidence invites careful observation rather than judgment. It asks only that we listen to the stones, to the soil, to the bones, to the stories, and consider the persistent rhythms of human life. In the quiet layers beneath our feet, the cycle of the Judges is recorded indelibly, a testament to the enduring struggle and resilience of those who came before. The land remembers, and in its memory we find a silent witness to the ancient dance of conflict and calm, of fear and hope, of fall and restoration.